This is Dr. Anand Joshi. Dear friends, watch full video and don't forget to subscribe, like and share this video. Thank you. 2.3 The Inchcape Rock. Icebreakers. Prepare a word register related to marine life. Sailors, sheep, tides, winds, anchor, captain, submarine, port, harbor, shipyard, petrol, etc. These are the words related to marine life. Okay, next one. The functions of a lighthouse are to show the direction, to warn of danger, to warn ships about treacherous rocks, to sound foghorns in times of poor visibility, to warn ships, etc. Discuss in pairs the various famous rocks in the world and mention the places where they are. Famous rock, place. You can easily find out the famous rocks and place. You can make use of internet as well. For example, Balancing Rock is in Mahabalipuram. Next one is Vivekananda Rock is in Kanyakumari. Ayers Rock is in Central Australia. Next one is Sigiria Rock. It is in Sri Lanka. Like that, you can easily find the above information by using internet or Google. Okay, next one is narrate in the class a story about someone who destroyed or spoiled someone else's good work. So here, this story you have to narrate to the class because this story is also related with the poem. Okay, next one is discuss in pairs and groups the following expressions. Take the help of your teacher. First of all, I am going to read out all the idioms and expressions. See, as you sow, so shall you reap. Crime gets its own punishment. What goes around comes around. Tit for tat. Evil digs a pit for others but falls into the same. All these expressions indicate one common thing, one common factor, that if you do good to others, it will return in the form of good to you. If you do something bad to others, you will get return something bad from others. So what we have to learn from this? We have to behave good and do good to other people. Okay, so behave properly and we have to work very sincerely with others, because somewhere, someday, your behavior with other people, whether it is good or bad, it returns to you. Okay, friends, let's deal with the poet Robert Southey, 1774 to 1843. He was born in Bristol, England. He was the son of a draper, educated at Westminster School and Balliol College, Oxford. He was a poet laureate of England from 1813 to 1843. Some of his short poems, like The Scholar, The Battle of Blenheim, Bishop Hatto, The Inchcape Rock, etc., are very popular with the school children. The Inchcape Rock is a ballad. So what is meant by ballad? Let's deal with it first. Ballad. A ballad is a song that tells a story, and it can be dramatic, funny, or romantic. Traditionally, the ballad has been considered a folkloric verse narrative which had strong associations with communal dancing, Generally, the term is used for a narrative poem which uses an elliptical and highly stylized mode of narration. The technique of repetition with variation may play an important part in it. From the 18th century onwards, collections of folk popular ballads began to be made. The form was taken up by some of the most influential poets of the late 18th century as a folkloric form of expression. A typical ballad consists of stanzas that contain a quatrain or four poetic lines. Some ballads have a refrain or a repeated chorus, just like a song does. The rhyme scheme adds musical quality to the poem. On one famous ballad is the rhyme of the Ancient Mariner by English poet Samuel Taylor Coleridge, that is S.T. Coleridge. The Inchcape Rock is a ballad. It is the story of the 14th century attempt by the abbot of Aberbrothock to install a warning bell on Inchcape, a notorious sandstone reef about 11 miles, that is 18 kilometers, of the east coast of Angus, Scotland, near Dundee and Fife, occupied by the Bell Rock Lighthouse. Southey was inspired by the legendary story of a pirate who removed the bell on the Inchcape Rock placed by the abbot of Aberbrothock. The poem gives us a message that those who do wrong things will meet with due punishment. Let's deal with the poem now. The Inchcape Rock. See, first stanza. No stir in the air, no stir in the sea. The ship was as still as she could be. Her sails from heaven received no motion. Her keel was steady in the ocean. So here, no stir in the air. Stir means here movement. No movement in the air, no movement in the sea. That is, everywhere there is a silence, no movement at all. Okay. The ship was as still as she could be, and the ship was very still there. Her sails from heaven received no motion. So there was no motion. Her keel was steady in the ocean and it was taking rest. Okay, so there was no movement at all. Now see in the second stanza. Without either sign or sound of their shock, the waves flowed over the Inchcape Rock. So little they rose, so little they fell. They did not move the Inchcape Bell. So without either sign or sound of their shock. So first of all, you must know what is that Inchcape Rock and what is the Inchcape Bell. Here you can see in this picture there is a bell on the rock. It is placed hanged over there and you can easily see that bell. Without either sign or sound of their shock, the waves flowed over the Inchcape Rock. That means there must be movement in the water and it could be the sign or sound of their shock. The waves flowed over the Inchcape Rock. When the waves flowed over that Inchcape Rock, the bell automatically rings. So little they rose, so little they fell. Every day, so little they rose, so little they fell. They did not move the Inchcape Bell. When there is a small movement, it would not move. But when a ship goes there, near to that Inchcape Rock, then it automatically rings there. Okay. So little they rose, so little they fell. They did not move the Inchcape Bell. The abbot of Aberbrothock had placed that bell on the Inchcape Rock. On a buoy in the storm, it floated and swung, and over the waves its warning rung. See, the abbot means here head of abbey of monks. Abbey means a building where monks or nuns live or used to live. So that is a place. Okay. Abbot of Aberbrothock. Here, abbot means head of the abbey. The abbot of Aberbrothock had placed that bell on the Inchcape Rock. So who placed this bell on the Inchcape Rock? Abbot of Aberbrothock. He placed this warning bell, Inchcape Bell, on that Inchcape Rock. On a buoy in the storm it floated and swung, and over the waves its warning rung. So here buoy means floating object anchored in the sea to mark dangerous places. So here buoy means a place. Buoy means a floating object anchored in the sea to mark dangerous places. So here you can easily see in this picture the bell is hanged to a surface. Okay, wooden surface is there and it was tied to it. It may be wooden or it may be iron object. Okay, so on a buoy in the storm it floated and swung. When heavy ships goes nearby the Inchcape Rock, its waves moves and the Inchcape Bell rings. So when it rings, it means it's a warning that they have to turn their ship far from that Inchcape Rock so that their ship would not break down. Okay, now see next stanza. When the rock was hid by the surge's swell, the mariners heard the warning bell, and then they knew the perilous rock and blessed the abbot of Aberbrothock. See, when the rock was hid by the surge's swell, that means the rock, Inchcape Rock, was hid by surge's swell. Hid by means covered by here, and covered by surge's swell. Surge's swells means sudden and great rise in the level of the sea water. Water increases and the Inchcape Rock was hid due to sea water. Okay. When the rock was hid by the surge's swell, the mariners heard the warning bell. At that time, mariners, that is sailors who go from that area, and they hear easily the warning bell there. Okay. And then they knew the perilous rock and blessed the abbot of Aberbrothock. And they knew the perilous rock. When they hear the sound of Inchcape Bell, they come to know that there is danger and they have to change their way, change their path, so that if they continuously going on, they will meet an accident there and their ship would be destroyed. Okay, so they have to change their way, and it is a warning bell. They come to know that something wrong would be happen to them, so they come to know it, and then they change their way, and then they knew the perilous rock and blessed. Blessed means here old English form of blessed. They blessed the abbot of Aberbrothock, and they thank abbot of Aberbrothock that he tied that Inchcape Bell there. It's a warning bell, and this bell saved their life. Okay, next. The sun in heaven was shining gay. All things were joyful on that day. The seabirds screamed as they wheeled around, and there was joyance in their sound. See, the sun in heaven was shining gay. Sun was shining. All things were joyful on that day. On that day, everything was joyful, happy. The seabirds screamed as they wheeled round. Okay, the seabirds screamed as they wheeled round. Wheeled round means here a flock of birds flying round in circles, which looks like a wheel. And there was joyance in their sound, and the birds were enjoying their sound. The birds were uttering their sound. Okay, so everything, the environment was very happy. The buoy of the Inchcape Bell was seen. a darker speck on the ocean green. Sir Ralph the rover walked his deck, and he fixed his eye on the darker speck. The buoy of the Inchcape Bell was seen. That means the floating object was easily seen by the sailor. The buoy of the Inchcape Bell was seen, a darker speck. Speck means a tiny dot there. On the ocean green. Sir Ralph the rover. Here, Ralph the rover means, Sir Ralph the rover means a sea pirate. Sea pirate, one who tried to grab the things from others. Okay, just like villains, negative role. Okay, goons, thieves, like that. Sir Ralph the rover, a sea pirate, walked his deck. He come forward side of the his ship, and he fixed his eye on the darker speck, and he fixed his eye on darker speck. Darker speck means here on the Inchcape Bell. He was continuously watching Inchcape Bell there. He felt the cheering power of spring. It made him whistle. It made him sing. His heart was mirthful to excess, but the rover's mirth was wickedness. See, he felt the cheering power of spring. He was also enjoying there. He felt the cheering power of spring, enjoying the environment there. It made him whistle, it made him sing. And due to that environment, he was whistling, making sound. It made him sing. He was also singing. His heart was mirthful to excess. He was very happy, delighted, enjoying there. But the rover's mirth was wickedness. But when he was very happy, when he do something wrong to others, wickedness was there. And when he do something wickedness to others, he was very happy. Mirth means joy. But the rover's mirth was wickedness. That means teasing others, causing trouble to others. That is wickedness. But the rover's mirth was wickedness. He was not happy with the environment or the things. Though the environment was very happy, birds are enjoying, environment was good. But the person, Sir Ralph the rover, he was not good person. He was a sea pirate, and he was not happy with the good environment. His happiness was there in the wickedness. His eye was on the Inchcape float. Quoth he, "My men, put out the boat and row me to the Inchcape Rock, and I will plague the abbot of Aberbrothock." See, his eye was on the Inchcape float. His eyes was there. He was continuously watching the Inchcape Bell there. Quoting means he was saying, his words are there. He uttered these words. "My men, put out the boat and row me to the Inchcape Rock." He said to his people, his sailors, "My men, put out the boat. Take this boat towards the Inchcape Rock, and I will plague the abbot of Aberbrothock." So he wanted to cut the rope of the Inchcape Bell. So he said to his people to take his ship near the Inchcape Bell. You can see even in the picture there. Okay. See, plague means cause pain or trouble. When the rover spotted the bell, he cut the bell from the buoy. This was an act of jealousy. Okay, this was an act of jealousy. See, his eye was on the Inchcape float. Quoth he, "My men, put out the boat and row me to the Inchcape Rock, and I'll plague the abbot of Aberbrothock." He wanted to cut the rope of Inchcape Bell so that people would not remember the abbot of Aberbrothock. The boat is lowered the boatmen row. The boat is lowered, the boatmen row, and to the Inchcape Rock they go. Sir Ralph bent over from the boat, and he cut the bell from the Inchcape float. See his wickedness in this picture as well. The boat is lowered. Boat is lowered near the Inchcape Bell. Sir Ralph bent over the boat. He bent there so that he wanted to cut the bell, cut the rope of that bell. Sir Ralph bent over from the boat and he cut the bell from the Inchcape float, and he cut the rope of the bell. So this act shows his jealousy towards Abbot of Aberbrothock, and another thing is his wickedness. His happiness is there, his mirth is there in his wickedness. Okay, down sunk the bell with a gurgling sound. The bubbles rose and burst around. Quoth Sir Ralph, the next who comes to the rock won't bless the Abbot of Aberbrothock. See his wickedness here. Down sunk the bell with a gurgling sound. With a gurgling sound, making sound, the bell sunk in the water. The bubbles rose and burst around, and when the bell sunk there, bubbles come out and burst around. Quoth Sir Ralph. Sir Ralph said, the next who comes to the rock won't bless the Abbot of Aberbrothock. That means Sir Ralph said that next anybody, any sailor, any shipman, when they come by this way, they would not able to listen the sound of Inchcape Bell, warning bell, and they would not be able to bless Abbot of Aberbrothock. So it indicates his jealousy and his wickedness. Sir Ralph the rover sailed away. He scoured the seas for many a day, and now grown rich with plundered store, he steers his course for Scotland's shore. See, Sir Ralph the rover sailed away. Sailed away means he traveled a lot in the sea, into the sea. He scoured. Scoured means traveled freely, energetically for ships to rob. Rob means to take their wealth, take wealth from other people, other ships, grab them, rob them, and punish them. Such kind of activities Sir Ralph the rover carried out. He scoured the seas for many a day, and now grown rich with plundered store. Plundered store means big amount of looted wealth, and he looted lots of wealth from other sailors, other shipmen, and he became rich. He steers his course for Scotland's shores, and he decided to return back to Scotland's shore. So thick a haze overspreads the sky, they cannot see the sun on high. The wind hath blown a gale all day, at evening it hath died away. See, he was returning to the Scotland's shore. So thick a haze overspreads the sky. Haze means thin mist was there, and it was spread all over the sky. They cannot see the sun on high, and they were not able to see the sun due to the thin mist. The wind hath blown a gale all day, at evening it hath died away. The wind was continuously blowing a gale all day. Okay, at evening it hath died away, and he was supposed that at the evening this mist would be clear. On the deck the rover takes his stand, so dark it is they see no land. Quoth Sir Ralph, it will be lighter soon, for there is the dawn of the rising moon. See, on the deck, the rower takes his stand. Here, Sir Ralph the rower, he took his stand. He said, "It was so dark as they would not be able to see the land." Quoth Sir Ralph. Here, Ralph said, "It will be lighter soon, for there is the dawn for the rising moon." According to him, the dawn is about to rise, so the mist would be clear very soon. So he is trying to convince his people on the ship. "Canst hear," said one, "the breakers roar? For methinks we should be near the shore. Now where we are I cannot tell, but I wish I could hear the Inchcape Bell." See, "Canst hear," said one, "the breakers roar." Canst hear means unable to hear, cannot hear. Cannot hear, said one. One of the persons on the ship would said that, "I cannot hear." Whatever the Ralph rower said. "Canst hear," said one, "the breakers roar." He said, "Have you heard the breaking sound?" Now the question arises there. "For methinks we should be near the shore." For methinks means here, it seems to me, archaic form of I think. That means I think we should be near the shore. Here one of the person on the ship was saying that we are very near to the shore. Now where we are I cannot tell. The person was saying that I don't know where we are, I cannot say it, but I wish I could hear the Inchcape Bell. And he was supposed to listen the warning sound of Inchcape Bell. They hear no sound. The swell is strong. Though the wind hath fallen, they drift along till the vessel strikes with a shivering shock. O Christ, it is the Inchcape Rock. See, they hear no sound. The swell is strong. As Sir Ralph the rower had already cut the rope of the Inchcape Bell was sunk in the water. So it was not there to give warning. So they hear no sound. The swell is strong. Though the wind hath fallen, they drift along. Drift means they continuously moving on till the vessel strikes with a shivering shock. And suddenly their ship attacked with the shivering shock. That means the ship is automatically bombarded or jumped or destroyed by the Inchcape Rock. O Christ, it is the Inchcape Rock. And then they come to know that it was Inchcape Rock, and then they automatically destroyed by the strong and hard type of jerk from that Inchcape Rock. O Christ, it is the Inchcape Rock. See, Sir Ralph the rower tore his hair. He cursed himself in his despair. The waves rush in every side. The ship is sinking beneath the tide. See, the Sir Ralph the rower tore his hair. He was trying to cut his hair due to despair. He cursed himself in his despair, and he was giving curse to himself that why I had cut that Inchcape Bell. If I had not cut that bell, I could listen the warning bell. and my ship was also remained safe. But the accident was already happened. He cursed himself in his despair. The waves rush in every side. Every side the water is coming in the ship. The ship is sinking beneath the tide, and the ship was continuously sinking under the or beneath the tide. But even in his dying fear, one dreadful sound could the rover hear, a sound as if with the Inchcape Bell the devil below was ringing his knell. See, but even in his dying fear, he was about to die because the ship was already destroyed. Everything is destroyed, and they were beneath, sinking beneath the tide. So, even in his dying fear, there is a fear in his mind that he was about to die. One dreadful sound could the rover hear, and rover hear one dreadful sound, a sound as if with the Inchcape Bell. It was that sound when he did something wrong with the Inchcape Bell. He cut the rope of the Inchcape Bell. At that time he listened that sound. The same type of sound he listened again. The devil below was ringing his knell. The devil was ringing his knell. Knell means the sound of a bell rung solemnly after death or at funeral announcement of death. That means his death was very near. So he was listening that sound. The devil below was ringing his knell. That means Sir Ralph the Rover was about to die. So Robert Southey is the poet of this poem, The Inchcape Rock. It's an interesting poem.